We were paddling in 30-foot-high waves. Hello and welcome to part 4 of The Lockdown Getaway. Short stories from the adventures of a blind man. Now there's this blind guy. Let's call him Dino. Now Dino likes to set himself challenges every year. But this year, let's call this year 2014. In 2014, Dino doesn't know what challenges to set himself. So he speaks to his friend. Let's call his friend Carl. Carl suggests that Dino has another go at that sport that Carl absolutely loves and Dino cannot do. Let's call that sport stand-up paddleboarding. Every time Carl takes Dino stand-up paddleboarding, Carl comes back dry and buzzing, and Dino comes back wet and dejected. Not only does Carl suggest that Dino gives stand-up paddleboarding yet another go, but that maybe along with Carl's brother Jason, the three of them could attempt to paddle from one side of Scotland to the other. Now Dino isn't very bright, so he says, OK. Now I first met Carl when we worked together at my old blind school in Exeter back in the 1990s. Since then, we've become great friends, and Carl and his wife Maria have even made me godfather to their son Harry. Now that I live in Scotland and Carl lives in Devon, we don't get to see much of each other, but when we do get together, we normally have a lot of fun. Carl has been stand-up paddleboarding, or SUPing, since 2008. And on a trip down to Devon in 2011, Carl suggested that I give SUP a go. On that occasion, we spent about an hour out on the water. Out of that hour, I probably spent a grand total of 5 seconds standing up on the board. I would like to say that this was down to the fact that we were paddling in 30-foot-high waves and that the wind was blowing at over 300 miles an hour. But that would be a lie. The fact was, it was down to my lack of skills and my fear of falling off the board and into the water. Now Carl is not easily put off, and on my next trip down to Devon in 2012, Carl suggested that I have another go at SUP. To be fair, on this occasion I did much better than the last time. Not only did I manage to stand up and paddle for short distances, but I even managed to catch a couple of short waves and ride them into the beach. Now that I could stand up and paddle for almost 50 metres without falling in, how much harder could it be to paddle another, say, 92 kilometres?
The challenge that's been set is to do the Caledonian Canal, so ocean to ocean basically. We're going to go from Fort William over on the west coast to Inverness on the east coast, paddling stand-up paddleboards. But obviously we're doing it with Dean, who's blind, registered blind.
My condition is called rod and cone dystrophy. Now, although I've had this for like, 20, 30 years or something like that, I've never been that interested in it. So what I can tell you about it is that the rods and cones are in the eyes. They see colour, they see light and all that. There's millions of these, and basically mine are dying off. It's very hard to describe because it's just something I live with. When someone says, describe me, what happens each year or what happens all the time, all I can say is that some of the things I did last year I can't do this year, and probably what I'm doing today I might not be able to do next year.
If you spend a few days with Dean, he'll look like he manages really well, and you wouldn't really know he was blind. I think he can actually see a lot less than you would believe or he would let on.
I don't see faces. I tend to recognise people by the colour of the clothing. So if I'm out with them that evening, I'll clock on that Bob over there's got a red jumper on, Tony's got a blue jumper, and the next time I see red it's got to be Bob, and the next time I see blue it's got to be Tony. If someone else comes in with those colours on, then I kind of embarrass myself slightly.
Generally, the biggest challenge for this is just the distance you've got to cover each day. Yeah, it's a long way to paddle. Probably on our longest day, got a good 8 to 10 hour day. When we paddle, you use a lot of references, visual references. So there's a nice point, you'll paddle to there and you'll see what's there, you're going to have a look, and then you'll paddle past, and you'll get the next point. We do it all the time. When you can't see past the end of your board, that's where it's going to be hard for him because he's got no visual reference to paddle to.
When you teach people to stand up paddleboard, you get them to look at the horizon, not look down. As soon as they start looking at the horizon, they can balance, but he can't look at the horizon. So I don't know the science behind how he manages to balance so well, because that's the challenge really. Any rough water, any cross chop, any boat wakes, especially with the weather forecast, 30 to 40 knots of wind.
When I'm out on the water, especially when the water's really rough, I'm pretty much looking at the nose of my board. I'm not looking at anything else. I sometimes try to look ahead of me just to keep my body straight, but I'm not always seeing anything. If someone could tell me that my sight would never get any worse than today, I'd take that. But if they said they could cure it totally, I'm not sure I'd want that. I suppose it's hard to understand that from someone who can see full sight and wonder why wouldn't you want that back. But the last time I had full sight I was 9-year-old. 36 years ago was the last time I could see properly. I can't remember what I saw back then. So I've no real desire to get back to see something that I can't remember. If I was to get full sight tomorrow, then I'd be thinking now I've got to learn to drive, I've got to change my way of life. There's lots of things I'd have to do, whereas at the moment I have routines, I know where things are. Life's fairly easy for me in a way, you know, I've made it that way. I know where I keep the salt and pepper and all these things. I suppose as well, there's got to be a bit of fear in there that if I got my sight fully back, I don't know how my life would be. And I don't know if it would be better or it would be worse, whereas at the moment I know where it's at. The thing that got me started in extreme sports was a charity tandem skydive. I was working at the blind school and we wanted to raise some money for the school, and one of the guys that I worked with had suggested doing a skydive. It was kind of a weird feeling, falling forward, doing a somersault, then everything going quiet, and I couldn't see the ground coming to me. I didn't get the ground rush, but I was getting something. And I realised halfway through it was some sort of adrenaline rush I was getting, and basically by the time we hit the ground, I was buzzing off my head. It was like I'd just taken some sort of manic drug that was just, you know, it was just totally off it. And since then, I've been looking for another fix. Now my life is about getting the next fix.
Childhood by cutlery, yeah, strays they follow me, just divided by your angry arm. I need a time machine to find this older me. He wouldn't let my mother come to harm. And I said, hold on, my boo, I got so many years until I break his spell and bone. When he reaches the bottom of his baby's bottle, I will kill him and make this house a cigarettes, a nail stained by cigarettes, she's burned by cigarettes tonight. A volcano grabs a candle lover. Yeah, we always said sorry after, but those nights of our times is no war. And I said, hold on, my moon, I got so many years until I
So yesterday we set off from Fort William. In total we did just under, I think, 30k.
Just need the same winds today to be blowing us in the right direction. We can crack out another 40, 50k today.
You know, when you get given news that you're going blind, I think there's normally two options that people take. They choose one or the other. It's It's kind of sad. When we had the school, we had the kids there. Basically, it was almost they were institutionalised. You know, they were maybe brought there from about the age of 3 or 4, went there right till they were 16. They then had a college built onto the school, so then some of the kids were staying there till they were 18, 19. Then when they left that, they left the sheltered life and went out into the big bad world. And 2 or 3 of the lads didn't make it. They took their own lives, and that's the other route. You know, you either get on with life and enjoy it, or you know, you take the other route, and it's pretty tough. We're now at the end of day 2. Today was going to be the biggest day, and it certainly proved to be the toughest day. But I think we've knocked out about something like 50k. Which on its own is pretty good going, but to have that added on to 28 yesterday, and then the conditions we had today as well, with the wind and the chop and everything, was just mental.
We've just done Loch Ness, pretty much the whole of Loch Ness, so it's really good. Once again, Dean has impressed no end in being able to ride the bumps without being able to see them. In these conditions, it's tough enough as it is without, you know, the vision thing. But yeah, it's a tough day.
I think the last 3 hours has been mentally tough. My eyes are totally shot. At points I was seeing things that weren't there. My head's pretty wasted from all the concentration. But the last 3 hours I just kind of thought we'll just go nowhere. And then all of a sudden Jason spotted something in the distance, got his GPS out and went, "That's doors, it's only a mile away." At that point I could have sprinted that last mile. It was fantastic. So it's day 3. Last little, I think it's about 8 kilometres to go. We're just going to take it easy this morning, finish off our 8k, and then that'll be us done. From the waist up, I'm pretty much okay. From the waist down, my legs are just totally shot away. So I'm not looking forward to having to kneel down and stand up too often. Once I'm on my board, I'm staying up, and I'm only getting off when I get to Inverness. The reason I'm pushing myself in that is purely it's the adrenaline thing and the fact that I can kind of step away and say I've done it. I suppose for me, being registered blind, you know, people kind of look at you and think, oh, do you tune pianos or do you weave baskets? You know, you're registered blind, that's obviously what you do. And I suppose I'm just trying to show people that I'm almost normal. You know, not quite normal, but I'm almost normal, you know. I want people to get out there and get off the bums and go out and try something, maybe get a bit fitter and find a new passion in life instead of it being TV or computers, you know.
Thanks for watching. I will be posting more Lockdown Getaways every Monday and Friday for the next few weeks. So stay safe, and if you want to find out more about my adventures, go to extremedreams.co.uk. My public speaking, dean-talks.com. Follow me at Twitter at dean_talks. On Facebook, Dean Dunbar Blind and Dangerous. And if you want to see any more of my videos, go to my YouTube channel, DinoD69. Thank you.